I drink your milkshake.
You are listening to the Billionaire Podcast Network.
Moving my bones, no place to rest. Travel the north just to find my head. I'm still corn-fed. Corn-fed. Moving my bones, no place to rest. Travel the north just to find my head. I'm still corn-fed.
Welcome to Lost in the Maze. This is Lost in the Maze number 8. Lost in the Maze is the solo show only on the Billionaire Podcast Network. Ka-ching! Bing, 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 bing. Fill her up. This is a solo show I do. This is off the dome. You know, it's not like I got a new show I'm doing over on the Patreon. It's called Theseus, and that's a little more curated. Right now, it's just me reading the news. So if you're so inclined to pay to listen to me read articles I found on Al Jazeera, go to patreon.com/cornfed with Dalton Pruitt. That's where you'll find the Theseus solo show and the premium episodes of Cornfed and whatever else I decide is bonus content on there. I still haven't sold a fucking goddamn decal. I made these decals for the show in the same style as those Fraternal Order of Police scam decals, and I put them on the Patreon, $25 a month, and you get a decal after 3 months of being subscribed. So yeah, I mean it's $75 for a sticker, but you're paying for it for the novelty. To say that you paid a failed comedian / podcaster $75 for a sticker with his face on it, and it helped pull him out of a dire financial situation. That's what you're paying for. But yeah, $25 a month gets you the decal. Only after you've been subscribed for 3 months, because that's how Patreon does the merch. But let's not focus too much on just plugging the Patreon. Let's get into the program. Everybody knows that something's going on in the Middle East again, and I don't know what's going on over there. I would like to just be uninformed. My life sucks, and I've got too much shit to worry about in my own life to have to just see a constant barrage of hot takes all day, every day about whatever this situation is between Israel and Palestine, and it's a tricky situation because I don't know many Palestinians. I don't even know what Palestine. I know that the Palestinians are like they're the Muslims, and Israel's the Jews, and I would say overall in my life, Jewish people have brought me more joy than Muslims have. You got guys like Seinfeld and Larry David, Adam Sandler, Jewish women's big fat titties. So overall, Jewish people have provided more entertainment and joy in my life, and I think the lives of all of us than Muslims have overall. But Muslims have got food on lock. Jewish food it's a lot of pickled stuff, like a lot of pickled fishes and weird deli meats and sandwiches. and it's okay, I guess. But I mean, Muslim, like the Muslim food, like you go to a good shawarma place or a good like Middle Eastern restaurant, it's so much better than anything the Jews are doing. And it's usually cheaper. Like if you go to New York and you go to like any of the big Jewish delis, like Katz's Deli or Russ and Daughters or Second Avenue Deli, it's like you're gonna spend like $35 on a sandwich with like deli meat. It's just like it's just a sandwich with deli meat on it. It's a fucking deli meat sandwich and it's $35. Whereas if you go to a halal cart, it's like what, like $7 for lamb over rice. The Probably one of the most delicious meals on this planet is probably like a Palestinian immigrant in a fucking truck on the side of the road making lamb over rice, and let me get a lamb over rice, white sauce, hot sauce, and it's so much better than the fucking deli where Meg Ryan faked an orgasm. It's crazy, like the reverence people have toward Katz's Deli when you go in there and it's like it's just sandwiches. It's just like pastrami sandwich, and it's a good sandwich, but it's like $35 for a fucking sandwich with like not a lot of pizzazz. There's not a lot going on the sandwich. It's just a lot of meat. And I guess the idea is that the quality of the ingredients are supposed to be better. And they do that old school thing where you go to the guy and he like tosses you a slice of meat while you're waiting for him to make your sandwich. So there's a lot of showmanship and all that, but at the end it's just a sandwich and then a plate of pickles, sour and half sour. My favorite's the half sour. It's crisp, refreshing. Um, but yeah, it's that the Jewish deli is way overpriced, and you're getting like weird deli pickled meats and herring and whatever, and it's good. Like I enjoy lox bagels and stuff like that, but if we're doing the Pepsi challenge on this one, the the Muslim food, or Muslim's not. I know Muslim's not an ethnicity. It's a religion, but the food that Muslims typically prepare is night and day better than what Jewish people are cooking up. But then when it comes to the Middle East, I don't even know like what's the difference over there in terms of their cuisine, because I know like here in America, like American Jewish food, like all the stuff that kind of got exported over here with all the like European Jewish people, it is a lot of the like weird pickled stuff and matzo balls and all that. But I've been to like some Israeli restaurants where the food is actually like pretty similar to what you would get at like a Muslim restaurant, where there's a lot of hummus and grape leaves. What do they call that? Dolma. I like that a lot. I like dolma. There's a place in Brooklyn called OMG Pizza. It's this pizza place. It's in the shape of like a pyramid. It's like a triangle pizza place underneath the train, and they do pizza, but then they also just had dolma for some reason. So you could go get like a Hawaiian slice, and then also a cup with 8 dolmas in it, 8 grape leaves. Oh man, New York sucks. It's a fun city, but it's also like it's a lawless, miserable, like mostly impoverished place where people are just struggling and scraping to survive. And I remember at that time it was I had like 2 roommates, and we were getting evicted by our Hasidic landlord, which kind of my experience with him kind of makes me pro Palestine at this point. But yeah, our Hasidic landlord was kicking us out, and I was like just spending every meal most of my meals were coming from OMG Pizza. I was eating a lot of Hawaiian slices and dolmas at that time. Uh, who knew how good I had it then? Because I'm homeless now. I live in a boxcar. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, everything's popping off over in the West Bank, and there is something about like when war. This is gonna sound fucked up, but when war really starts going off in this way, I am sort of getting like that nostalgic feeling of like right after 9/11, because you know I guess it's like that Fight Club thing where modern life is so routine and boring and predictable, but it comes with a lot of like existential on Super Mario Galaxy on Wii. Um, that anything that is out shakes it up does kind of like lights that sort of primal spark inside of you, that thing that's reconnects you with I don't know, the just primal nature. So when I start seeing World War III might be happening, there is a part of me that's I'm getting fucking stoked. I'm like, we're getting a new probably something along the lines of if Toby Keith doesn't make a new album, somebody's gonna come out with like the next uh shock and y'all, because right after 9/11 happened, Toby Keith came out with a banger album called Shock and Y'all, and it had some of the best wartime propaganda music I've ever heard. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to whatever movie we get with Mark Wahlberg about the or I guess like Mark Wahlberg plays like an IDF soldier, or whoever, like, yeah, whoever at the end of this comes out to be the good guy, like whoever the victor is that everybody decides is the hero in all this. We'll get a movie where Mark Wahlberg is like a prominent figure that helps saves the day. You know, like where it'll be a movie where there is probably a brown guy playing the actual hero, but the star of the film will be like somebody like Mark Wahlberg or Chris Pratt or Bradley Cooper. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the wartime excitement and enthusiasm that we had right after 9/11, and I'm loving I'm really enjoying watching Ben Shapiro meltdown. He it's it's funny to watch. Like, he's so upset right now, and he's like really showing his ass more than ever. Do he's going off on Palestine, and he's so mad, and he's finally swearing. He's on his show cussing now finally, but he's still like going through and editing it to bleep out the cuss words. So he's like, he's pissed, but he I guess he understands that families might be watching the Daily Wire. Get children come into the living room so we can watch the Ben Shapiro show. Um, yeah, so he's bleeping out all of his swear words, and he's begging all American civilians to donate to the IDF, which is like my take on that is like, wait a minute, you're telling me that out of all the countries in the world, out of every country that has to go to war at some point, that Israel does not have like enough money and I mean, come on. Out of every country that exists, that country doesn't have the money to fund their own war. I mean, get real, get serious, Ben Shapiro, and all like why why would anyone send money to the IDF? Why, like, our country doesn't do that. Like, our country doesn't. You don't see like people asking American citizens to send their money to the fucking American military. No, because we're dominating that space. Our military rocks. We don't need, but like I've never seen anything in my lifetime where they're asking like the actual people that live here to donate to our military. So if we're not even like we don't even do that for our military here. Why the fuck would we do that for some military overseas that, from what most people can see, has been conducting like a genocidal apartheid for? See, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like I'm using these words I've heard on TikTok. I really shouldn't speak on this because I'm so unbelievably uninformed that that when someone says Israel was founded in like the 40s, I know I could do the research on that, but I'm like, I would have guessed it was like it was just always there, because they talk about it in the Bible, but no, it's I guess whatever we know is Israel hasn't really been there that long. But I'm not qualified to speak on this. I don't think I met a Jewish person until I was like 22. Yeah, there weren't any in my hometown. In fact, it was like an insult. It was like scandalous if anyone was accused of being Jewish where I'm from. That was how we would, that it was you didn't want small town Texas, you didn't want to be outed as a nah, it wasn't like that. But it was a time when that could have been perceived as an insult. If someone called you Jewish, it would be like, no, shut the fuck up. I'm not. No, I'm Baptist. Yeah, I didn't meet Jewish people until I was an adult, and it was like, wow, man, it's I've heard about y'all. What's it? Is it like they show in the movies where you complain and are always sick and you're mad about everything? And it is like that. It is honestly like most of them that I've interacted with are miserable and complain about everything, and they always have like some malady or ailment that that they can't seem to get rid of. Um, I remember that. That was like the one of the first like welcome to New York moments I had was I went to a deli and there was just this old Jewish lady there complaining to the guy behind the counter about the amount of like some fish salad he had given her, like it's too much, and then he changed it and she was like it's not enough, and she was looking for the Goldilocks amount of some like white fish salad and she just kept going back and forth with this guy like that scene in The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. um yeah, I'm not qualified to talk about any of this. It's complicated what's going on over there. That's what all my Jewish friends have told me over the years. It's complicated, and I just take that at face value. Well, I'll look into it no further, and I'll just I'll go with whatever you say, because I don't even know. I just found out about Israel, and now you're telling me there's a place called Palestine that I've never heard of. So I don't know. I'm not a worldly man. I've never left this country. I've never left the United States. It's funny when I tell people that, like there's certain people I've told that to and they just can't wrap their head around the fact that I don't even have a passport or anything. They're like, "You've never been overseas?" And it's like, yeah, not everybody has like a ton of fucking money to go do shit like that. And and I know that like an overseas trip for a lot of people is not like breaking the bank. But yeah, I've never been in a position in my life where I can securely take off work and go anywhere overseas. That's like most of this country. Like most of America's people who probably have not even left the town they grew up in. And it's a real fucking place of privilege to be able to say that you've gone anywhere. To say like, oh, I've been to this country and that country, and it's like, well, most people don't get to do that. So it's like you're the weird one. Like when I tell someone I've never been overseas, and I'm like, what? You don't have all these stamps on your passport? And it's like, motherfucker, who has a passport? What do you? I've never even had one of those. So Like you're the weird one for being able to do that. Okay, I'm a man of the people. Okay, I don't go anywhere. I don't want to leave the town that I'm currently in. I don't want to venture outside into the world. I don't want to learn nothing. I don't want to meet new people. I want Amazon to bring me everything, and I never want to have to go anywhere. That's the life that I want. But yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to go places one day. Actually, I would love to see more of the world, but I gotta make money, dude. That's why I'm doing making the content. I that's why I'm making content. Um, yeah, that's all that's left now is just I used to, um, uh, I used to lament that everything is just content now. That there's no real. Well, a lot of people aren't necessarily wanting to become artists or do anything really meaningful. They just want to be content creators. And then I just sort of had this, maybe not an epiphany, but just came to realize, like, a there's much worse ways to get attention and make a living, and b who cares. It's like, if people are drawn to whatever's happening on the internet in terms of however you want to define content, if that's like something people are enjoying and it's a way for people to secure the bag and make money, then that's really not an issue. That whole, like, this whole idea of selling out, that there's like, you should have some sort of integrity and not sell out, or just you shouldn't do things just for the money. That's some boomer Gen X bullshit. That's like that's some trying too hard to be cool shit. And it's like, I think my generation at least understands the value of sell out as fucking soon as you can. Do everything you can to sell out. Get some fucking money, so that, like, yeah. So then once you have that, then you can, like, work on shit maybe that might be artistic in some way or whatever. But you should be just doing every fucking shucking, like, whatever shucking jive you got to do to get fucking money that you got to do, because yeah, why was that a bad thing? Why was it a bad thing to be like, well, I need money, I want money, I want a lot of it, so I'll do what I got to do to get a lot of money. And there was like generations of people that were like, well, that's not cool. It's like, all right, well, have fun being poor then. you know. Also, I don't care. I don't care about artistic integrity anymore. I'll chop up this fucking show and put it online over a clip of, like, funny Family Guy clips and Subway Surfers or whatever, to get people to watch it. Everybody has TikTok brain now, so I mean, who would even watch this? Who would watch me just do this for an hour? You got to chop this up into 1 minute chunks and put it over Subway Surfers, which is fine with me. That's what's entertaining now. Everybody has TikTok brain. Uh, everything has to be consumed in 1, 2, 3 minute chunks. I can't believe that TikTok is like letting people record up to 10 minutes now. It's like, what are you doing? You created, like, this platform itself fried people's brains to the point where, like, 10 minutes, a 10-minute TikTok, like, might as well be a fucking Kubrick movie. That's crazy that do you think anybody on this platform is going to want to watch a 10-minute one of these? Yeah, TikTok, dude. I'm addicted to TikTok again. TikTok is awesome. It's crazy, because I was thinking about this, that, like, you know how, like, there's all these studies done, and everybody knows now that social media is kind of designed with the same sort of philosophy as a slot machine or some kind of, like, casino game, like dopamine and all that. But, like, TikTok might be the zenith of that design. Like, it might be the most realized version of the, like, casino aspect of whatever social media is, because it there is this sort of promise that if you keep posting to that platform, like, if you keep making shit for TikTok and just keep making content or whatever, that something might catch on and you'll get millions and millions of followers, and then you can effectively like make a living doing that. Like it's this like Chinese data mining lottery. Like the Chinese created this app to mine data and like you know begin their their like quest for world domination, and then incentivized it financially and said, if you can get good at this, you can get like a few million followers and basically just make a living doing like 3 or 4 TikToks a day. So now everybody is on that app blasting like either the most embarrassing or the most personal shit that anyone's ever seen, just like blaring their like most intimate personal information, or just doing like some really embarrassing things in front of a camera. And like for some people it like really works, like they end up getting tons of followers and then they like just make a living doing TikToks. But then for most people, they have like 30 followers and they're posting like 3 or 4 times a day, and they're just it's just freak shows who are like offering this window into a truly fucked up horrible existence, which is, I mean, honestly kind of what I do now on the internet. But I shouldn't be an example for for anybody. um yeah, and so yeah, TikTok is definitely definitely a slot machine, because some people hit the jackpot, but most people it's just ruining their lives, and they're spending all day on it, and they don't even know what time it is. They haven't seen the sun. They need insulin and they can't afford it. um but I just keep posting and hope that you can make money doing that, just making content. uh and yeah, I guess it's all born from like people just don't know what to do now. Like I think so many people are just lost and don't even know what to dream for anymore. Like nobody even knows what they want, or even like what their dreams are. They just have like this vague idea that I want to be able to survive and not suffer and struggle and scrape every day. But I mean, does anybody have any like tangible dreams anymore, or is it just like, I just don't want to be miserable? Is I guess it's like most people's dream, like sky pie in the sky dreams. Man, I just don't want to be absolutely fucking miserable every day of my life. But then now there's like a feedback loop. Like my life's in the gutter right now. Like I've fucked up, and I'm having to like try and figure this out and pull myself and my family out of a horrible, awful, dire situation. But you don't see me going online every fucking day, like lamenting the evils of capitalism and what like whatever. And it's not like I'm a socialist, but I'm also not a bitch. Like so much of the shit that I see on the internet is people bitching about like the price of everything's going up. Nobody makes money. The billionaires don't pay taxes. Just a lot of people yapping and fucking complaining, and it's like, well, this is why you're not making any money, because like first off, this isn't entertaining, and it's the same like Rage Against the Machine paradox, where it's like, so what do you want to happen? Like, do you want to make a career as a content creator, entertainer, as somebody who bitches about capitalism and talks about how you're like a leftist socialist or whatever? And so in like it's that, yeah, this paradox where like, so essentially what your goal is to complain about everything, complain about how expensive everything, and the billionaires don't pay taxes, and blah blah blah, and hope that this gets enough traction that a lot of people pay attention to what you have to say, and then you start making money doing this. You make money complaining about these things, and how we need socialism and communism, and then essentially you're being rewarded for this. You start to be able to pay your bills as this person, and you like, now you're a big success as a socialist within a capitalist system, and you've been rewarded for your bitching and moaning but it's like at that point, it's like, well, you just proved what you've done is actually prove that the thing you hate works. Like that's what ends up happening. Like with any of these fucking things, like Rage Against the Machine or Chapo Trap House or any of these fucking people, it's like, well, you just sort of like pissed and bitched and moaned your way into wealth and riches, and just kind of prove that the system that you claim to hate actually can work. You know what I mean? Like, if you do something enough and get good enough at it, even if it's just like bitching about like the elites and the hierarchy or whatever, then actually it turns out that people will deem that as like a good enough service that's being provided that you can then get paid for it, and you sort of like disprove the thing you were trying to prove, which is that we need like socialism or whatever. And man, maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, but like, I don't know what socialism, I don't know what communism is. I don't know anything. I just know that I just see so many fucking people bitching and moaning about everything and how expensive everything is, and it's like, well, what do you want to happen? Like, you're putting this on the internet, so it seems like what you want is actually for people to pay attention to you complaining about everything, so that you can then make money to just keep bitching about things. So it just seems disingenuous to me. Like it just doesn't seem like it's coming from a completely sincere altruistic place, because it is people who are doing this from a place of like wanting that attention, and then wanting the money that comes with it. And that's why I just am open about the fact, like, how much I respect like the art of grifting and con men, because I appreciate that more than like an actual grifter, an actual fucking con man, than I do the like anyone who's just like bitching about capitalism and how expensive groceries are. Like I like a grift much better than pissing and moaning and whining. And that's why I'm gonna be the first billionaire podcast, because I've studied the grift. I understand con men, and that's where it is. I don't care about art or any of that anymore. All I care about is grifting and conning people. All right, the only art I care about is con art, being a con artist. Um, did anything I say make any sense? Like, the tools are there. Like the internet exists. Like everything's going digital. Like, like there's so much that exists within the digital space that most people probably could, if they just kept doing it. Like if you just get rid of like whatever it is that's inside of you that feels shame or embarrassment, or like any social conditioning that's existed within civilization for the last several hundred years, get rid of that, get rid of all of that, and just make it a point to just keep uploading things to the internet regardless of quality, like I'm doing. Just sit in front of a webcam and just blab and rant and go blah, 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 just keep talking, and just keep posting it to the internet, and eventually something might happen. Worst case scenario, you just look like a jackass, which is fine. Like, I've most of my life has been just like embarrassing and humiliating myself in ways most of you couldn't even fucking imagine, and I'm still here. I've never made any effort to look cool or be perceived as cool, and honestly, that's my strength. That's my superpower. Is I'm the most embarrassing, fucking horrible, humiliating person that exists, and now nothing can destroy me now. So it's like that's why, like, after everything that's happened to me, after losing, doing a like very mildly successful podcast, and then losing my fucking mind, losing everything, and being faced with like an awful situations, when I do bounce back, when I am rich as fuck from doing podcasting, and I'm a beloved content creator or whatever you want to call it, then I'm like truly fucking untouchable, you know, because it's like I've already been put through the worst that it like just some of the worst shit that could ever happen to anybody, and then have you know, you know, and you bounce back and you become invincible. Because I like now I just truly don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about me anymore. Um, like I don't care if I ever have the respect of my quote unquote peers. I don't care if anyone ever thinks that the things I do are entertaining or not. I don't like somebody on like that that the Vape Nation guy I saw, Ethan Klein H3H3 was like going off about Palestine and Hamas and all that. And I saw, dude, I saw a picture of his wife, and I was like, "Yo, this bitch looks just like Tony Hinchcliffe." So I was on X, formerly Twitter, and somebody had posted that clip of Ethan like going off about Palestine, and I just was like, "Man, all this to support a wife that looked like Tony Hinchcliffe," and I posted a picture of her. And then somebody was like, "Why do you gotta denigrate his wife like this?" And I was like, "Well, because I don't respect women." And then like some account with like 30 followers, which I don't have a problem with. Like a lot of people use that as like an insult that like, oh, this Twitter account with like 30 followers, and it's like, well, that's actually normal. You know what I mean? Like I think like most people that exist probably are not on that site, and then most of the people on the site probably do have only anywhere from around 0 to 100 followers. Anywhere within that range is actually normal. And then anyone with thousands and thousands or up to millions of followers, that's actually like way outside of what most people are doing. So I don't have a problem. I'll interact with anybody on there because I think most people that exist that are on X, formerly Twitter, probably only have around like 30 to 40 followers. Um, and so this guy like made some comment about like, oh come on, dude, you're only getting like you know your post your YouTube is only getting like 100 views per upload. And it's like, well, what that tells me first off is you took the time to visit my fucking YouTube page. So whether or not you like it or subscribe or interact with anything on there, like you've engaged with it, you went and looked at it, and then you saw that I was getting like substantially less numbers than Ethan Klein, and it's like, well, yeah, I mean, like is I don't want to say it, but his wife is an Israeli. She was in the IDF, so you put it together. Think about the connections they have. But yeah, I'm getting like way less than anything like he's getting, and this guy's trying to like use that against me. Like, you're only getting like 100 or something views per upload, and it's like, well, once again, that's probably more than the average American is getting on YouTube, considering most people probably don't have a fucking YouTube channel and most people on YouTube are like don't post with any regularity. So the fact that I'm like just doing this week after week already says that I'm like putting more effort into not a lot of effort. I'll never do that. But putting more effort into it than a lot of people are, and I'm getting at least 100 views per upload. And that's after like having a decent podcast and then disappearing forever and then coming back like within less than a like 2 months. I'm already clearing you know it, on average probably like 250 views per video that I put up. So this guy's trying to trying to use that against me, and it's like it's fine. And then I asked him, I was like, well, you went to the page, can you rate, review, subscribe? And he's like, nah, your content is boring as fuck. And it's like, yeah, I never made any promise that this was supposed to even be entertaining. It's in the name. It's content. It's supposed to fill up a fucking hour. There was never like why like this isn't supposed to be anything other than something to put on the internet and hope that people look at it. and that enough people pay attention to it that that can turn into money somehow. Because it's I like that's what's so that's what's so funny about like the arts or entertainment or any of that is people see like I've talked to so many people who are like quote unquote artists or these like punk rock kind of guys who are refuse to do the content thing or podcasting or any of that, and because, due to like some like a misplaced sense of integrity, and it's like, well, regardless of what you think, if I can make any amount of money doing the dumbest shit possible on the internet, that is a much better life than working at like Dollar General or something. You know what I mean? Like you're concerned with being like some sort of artist or having some sort of integrity, but you work at the fucking Family Dollar. So it's like, what would you rather do? Like, would you rather have to go clock in at the fucking Dollar Tree day after day, or would you rather just like upload dumbass, pointless YouTube videos once a week? You know what I mean? Like, I don't. I think people are just afraid of looking stupid, so it holds them back in life. It's what held us back on the last podcast. Is somebody on that show, I think, was afraid of looking like a fucking moron, and wanted to be the cool one. And it's like, hey pal, you stopped being cool the second you decided to even try doing stand up comedy. So I don't know why you why you're trying to position yourself as like the cool guy on this show. Like, this is truly a stupid and like not like dishonorable way to live your life. So why are you like, why are you trying to act like this? There's anything about this that's cool? I hate that. I'm so sick of cool comedians and podcasters, like people who are try to be perceived as like cool guys, because there's nothing fucking cool about it. You know what's cool is James Bond. Okay, you know what's cool is being a basketball player. There's nothing fucking cool about podcasting. It's one of the dumbest fucking things anyone can do, but it seems to be a way to make money now, so people do it. And I don't know. Maybe maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just something I'm like just naturally good at. Who knows? Maybe that's why I don't respect it or appreciate it the way other people do. Is maybe I just have that innate ability that kind of blinds me from realizing that maybe it is difficult and something that a lot of people can't figure out, and there is value to it, but I don't see it because I'm just naturally the best at it. I've had people reach out to me and leave comments about these solo shows that have said, you know, it's a unique talent to be able to talk by yourself for an hour plus, and make it, even listenable, let alone entertaining. And I thought about that because I didn't consider that there was any real talent involved in doing something like this. But now that I think about it, yeah, you're fucking goddamn right. It is a very unique ability to be able to do what I'm doing right now, and most of you couldn't fucking do this. Most of you would buckle at the idea of just talking by yourself for any amount of time, because you're small-minded, you're weak, you have no idea how to even carry a conversation with other people, so you couldn't possibly fathom having the kind of amazing brain that I do, that I can go off the dome for this long and make it in any way engaging. Most people, yeah, you're right. Most people couldn't fucking do that. Most people are really fucking boring and have nothing to say and have no fucking ideas. And a lot of them are actually doing comedy right now. And that's why podcasting has allowed so many just completely fucking unfunny, untalented people to thrive. Because, yeah, if you're in a room with 3 or 4 other guys riffing bits with each other, it's easy to look like you're better at this thing than you are. When the reality, I've talked to so many people and had these conversations where they're like talking to me about their favorite comedian, but then eventually you realize they'll tell you, I love this guy on podcast, but I've never seen his stand up, and it's like, oh, well, then you just like him as a personality on these like fun little podcasts you listen to, but you don't even realize this guy's like not actually talented in any regard. He's just like good at having fun with his friends, which you are also good at. Like anybody who tells that, like if you're like a fan of podcasts and you spend like a lot of your time listening to these kinds of shows and find joy in them, you're also good at that. Like if you have friends, especially if you're a guy, like I don't know about like women are bad at interacting with the world, but if you're a guy and you have like other guy friends that you can hang out with or call on the phone or just like have conversations with, then you're probably also good at this because guys have been honing the art of riffing bits since we were in like elementary school. Like that's literally like what we just do naturally is sit at a lunch table and riff bits with each other and have good ass times. And then that just gets beat out of you by women and society and corporate jobs or like whatever you end up doing with your life. The world wants to like beat that out of you, but like every dude alive who has at least one or two friends is probably also like you're probably just as good at podcasting as any of your favorite podcasters. They just have the gumption to record themselves riffing bits like they were like when we were at the lunch tables together. But anybody can do it. Anybody can have fun with their friends because that's all it is just having fun with your friends. So these people that you think are your like favorite comedians, it's really just a guy that has friends and they record themselves having fun together. That's all that's happening on these shows. And then like actual like actual entertainment, like actual stand-up comedy or whatever it is, that's like yeah, that's more of a craft and most people are fucking bad at that. Most people are bad at most things actually. There's really nothing wrong with being bad at something. But that, I mean, that is the reality of the situation. Like, I don't like, I don't know if I'm like ever was a particularly gifted stand-up comedian. I mean, I haven't really, ever since my brain accident, I haven't just really been able to do it or anything like that. But it's I would go on stage and just say like the most vile, awful shit imaginable, and like people would laugh and I'd get compliments, but like I don't know if there was ever a point when I was coming up with like ideas that were necessarily worthy of anybody paying me to hear them. And that's why I've just turned to content creation now because that's where you go when you don't have ideas. You just go to the internet and you do you just make things to put on the internet, and then that turns into a very successful career. Nothing's good anymore. Why should it be? Why should anything be good anymore? Everything's bad now, and that should be inspiring. Like the bar is so fucking low now that literally like it's never the it's not even like a democratization of the arts. It's a democratization of um like I don't know. It's like a democratization of yeah, just content, I guess. It's like not even the arts thing, because there were people who were worried about that for a long time, that this like dreadful idea of like the of art and fine art and entertainment and everything being more and more accessible for everyone to do, you know what I mean? Like these sort of like highfalutin fancy types, these like fine art humanities people were like scared of this idea, like with mass communication technologies and the internet and all that, the democratization of the arts would effectively like lower the bar and kind of incentivize people to make things that are not like good or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. Why is that bad? Why is it bad now that more and more people can make money doing doing like art and entertainment and content. Why I don't understand why that's a bad thing. Like why is it why was any of this ever precious to begin with? Because it doesn't exist. None of it exists. Like that's the thing is like none of it's real. You know, you like if you were to ask me to define art, I would just say it's some bullshit that somebody convinced you you're supposed to care about, and because they didn't want to work a real job, and so now that that's available to everybody, all the people who would consider themselves actual artists are upset about that, and it's like, well, hey, sorry, pal. Like it's unfortunately it's actually a good thing that people can now make money doing nothing because who, like, why would anyone want to actually do anything for a living when that should, like, we should have already had robots doing everything years ago. Um, yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, who wants to be an actual artist? Who wants to? Why would anyone want to do that when you could just do the most low effort bullshit imaginable and actually like have a career? Like, who's that guy? Who's that guy I keep seeing? It's one of these streamer guys, like Moist Critical. He has like no personality. It's like somebody fucking wheeled a corpse in front of a webcam and put a video game controller in his hand. He's the most monotonous, like just empty husk of a person I've ever seen. And he's like a multi-millionaire streamer. You know what I mean? Like there's so many guys like XQC is another guy who I think like might actually just be retarded. Like that might actually be like some sort of like developmentally disabled person who just sits in front of a computer all day and doesn't even like doesn't do anything. Like he does like reaction videos where he doesn't even react to the thing happening, and he's making crazy money on that. Um, this is. But now I'm doing the thing I hate, where it's like content talking about content and trying to deconstruct what it is and get to the bottom of this. And so maybe this isn't coming from the sincere place that I want it to. Maybe it's coming from a spiteful and vitriolic place. But I don't know. My brain. I hate it when people say that. That's just my brain has always worked that way. It's like, what does that even mean? You're talking like your brain is separate from who you are as a person, which is I maybe that is like a metaphysical question that people have had before. Like, am I my thoughts or oh shit? Anyway, I have always been that kind of guy who wants to like deconstruct things and criticize everything but then like the trap you kind of set yourself up for when you do that is becoming like everything you do is coming from a place of deconstruction and like you start to like do things like you start to believe that you're somehow better than the thing you're actively doing. Like as I'm making like whatever you want to call it, as I'm doing a podcast or making content, I'm also criticizing it. But I can't like be doing the thing that I'm doing like criticizing and think that I'm somehow better than that as like actually doing the thing that I'm criticizing, right? I've seen that so much in my life. That's like that's why I don't like Rick and Morty like anymore, or maybe I never should have. But it's like that whole fucking episode. The one that really bugs me in that show is that episode of the show where the heist episode, where the whole episode is like, and maybe this is the joke. Maybe I'm just like proving the point of the episode, but the whole episode is what it is clearly it seems like it's coming from Dan Harmon's own hatred of heist movies. Like it seems like it's being written from a place of how much he doesn't like the tropes of heist movies and he thinks they're stupid and whatever. And so the whole episode is talking about how bad and awful and predictable heist movies are, while within the episode doing its own like heist plot. But like every second of the episode is like walking this weird tightrope where it's doing the thing that it's claiming to hate, but also trying to remind you every step of the way that it does in fact hate the thing that it's doing, and it hates the thing that it's referencing, where it's like I would rather just see us like a sincere something sincere, like I you know what I mean, like just do a like I it bugged me to no end that episode. Like that was kind of where I turned on the show, because it was like, first off, heist movies are fun. I like heists. Like all the tropes in that episode that it highlights as being like goofy or whatever. So that's all very fun stuff, like assembling a crew, whatever. But I hate that smarmy, smug fucking bullshit where it's like we're doing this thing, but it's like ironic. Like we're gonna make fun of it the entire time we're doing it to let you know that we're actually like we're smarter than the thing we're making fun of, and it was just these writers tying themselves in fucking knots to try to prove to the world that there's some like smarter and more creative than the fucking guy who wrote Ocean's 12. Um, yeah, and and maybe that's where we're headed. Like post ironic, post modern world is just a complete return to sincerity. You know what I mean? Like we've gone through every iteration of irony and meta and postmodernism, and maybe we're just getting back to like real actual sincerity, and not the Jordan B. Peterson bullshit. Like just actual, just people making things they enjoy for the sake of it. Wait, like I don't know. I'm sick of irony, and it would be nice if people would just like do stuff for the sake of doing it, because they're either they want to have fun or they want to make money, but not because they want to prove how cool and smart they are. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with doing something because you just want to make money. There's nothing wrong with doing something because you want to have fun. But doing something to like flex your brain on people to try and like deconstruct everything, and be like cool, hip, and ironic, and make some I don't even know like what the point is supposed to be, like that most people shouldn't be allowed to do the thing that I'm doing because I'm so smart and cool and better at it than everybody, and like I understand these things in a way most people don't. It is like, yeah, it's that parabola meme where it's like the retard on the left, and then the kind of smart guy in the middle, and the really smart guy on the right, and the retard and the really smart guy have the same point of view about everything, and the guy in the middle who thinks he's smart is crying. Now I'm just describing a meme, but yeah, it's like that. It's like you like the sort of like consumption of knowledge and getting kind of good at something, or having like some like a better understanding of things than a guy who doesn't like particularly like look into things that much. You do get to a point where it's like, well, you're not like exceptionally smart or talented, you just know more than the average person, and so the things you do and say are just coming from a place of trying to prove that you're smart and talented, and you deconstruct everything, but that's coming from a very like insincere place, whereas like 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 a really good example is like the Fast and the Furious movies, where anybody who would deem themselves like a cinephile or whatever, uh probably looks at those movies as like cheap, trashy entertainment, and maybe couldn't be bothered to watch a Fast and Furious movie. But then on the left side of the parabola, the dumb guy and the smart, really smart guy, both can flip on a Fast and Furious movie and each just shut their brains off and have a good ass time, and they but like understand the value, like the entertainment value of this, like what about this it actually is awesome. Whereas the guy who thinks too much is just trying to pick it apart and you know be you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. You get like I'm not the first person to make this point. Like action movies are fun. There's a place for everything. It's like I love a good dumb action movie, and every now and then I'll watch a smarty pants movie, like some Fellini bullshit. Um, and I still like Marvel stuff too. I'm still a sucker for that. I know like Scorsese. I don't even think Scorsese ever said he hated the Marvel movies. I think he just like made a pretty salient point about how they are like amusement park rides versus like the sort of more artistic cinema that he wishes there was more of. But I don't think at any point he ever said he did hated that they exist or anything. But people are so quick to defend a billion-dollar corporation. Yeah, I'm still a sucker for the Marvel stuff. Like I'm stoked on Loki season 2. I think it's fun. Um, I like I like that actor. I like Tom Hiddleston. I love Owen Wilson. And now in this season they got Ke Kwan. The guy, he's having a resurgence in his career. Short round data. He came back, had a big moment in that Everything Everywhere All at Once. And that movie pissed me off because it got all this praise. Everybody loved it. It won every award at the Oscars. And then I watched it and I was like, this movie sucks. Like I don't enjoy this. Like the whole thing is looks like a fucking music video. And um I didn't like there was never a point where I like understood what was happening, and I don't think that's because I'm stupid or wasn't paying attention or any of that. Like it was truly a movie where just like nothing made sense, and all the like emotional like deep stuff that people praised it for. I was like, well, they're shoehorning this in here to like pad a completely nonsensical storyline filled with characters that like I couldn't even give a shit about. Like, nothing happening in this makes any sense. The fight scenes are boring. It's just this like frantic 2 hour long fucking music video. And it is because it was made by the guys who did the Turn Down for What video, which I think is much much better than the entire Everything Everywhere All at Once movie. Yeah, I like by the time I finally watched it, I was like, I can't believe that this is like this beloved picture that won every award because it's just a complete nonsensical fucking movie with like forced sentimentality and boring fight scenes. And it's like if it did anything well, it brought back Data. It brought that guy back into the spotlight so that he can also play a quirky Asian guy. I mean, no matter what, I guess like no matter what he does in his film career, he's always going to be an Asian guy. So I think every role that he gets cast for, he is going to be an Asian guy in the role. But yeah, in Loki, he's a quirky Asian guy who is good at science. But yeah, he's fun. I like him. He's entertaining. I don't know why he went away, but most like child actors do just kind of disappear. Because that's fucked up to be in Hollywood as a kid. I was lucky. I grew up in the middle of fucking nowhere as a kid. I would have loved to have been a child actor. That looks like fun. It's like, yeah, you got to get molested a little bit, but how cool would it have been to be on all that? I mean, imagine being part of that cultural moment. Um, or to get to just be in one scene with Topanga. Oh my god, that would be awesome. Yes, maybe you got to let Dan Schneider rub your feet. Who cares? Um, yeah, I've never been to Hollywood. That's another thing that people I talk to can't. They're like, "You've never been to L.A.?" And I'm like, "Most people haven't. Most people have not been to Los Angeles. Like, why? I don't know, man. That's the thing that fucking sucks. Is like, I tried to get into comedy and like wanted to be a part of that world, and then just realized like, oh, I don't actually like or can relate to anybody that's doing this. Like everybody that's doing this, like already has that sort of like showbiz thing inside of them. And it's like I don't even like these people or even like necessarily the any as like even like enjoy this like that sort of personality or that world. Um I don't know, I grew up like I always liked Letterman because Letterman had this like just blatant obvious contempt for most celebrities, and he just had the like he would have like big time celebrities on his show, and they just would never even notice that this guy like didn't really like them or respect what they do. And that's why I always like begged my parents to let me stay up and watch Letterman because I loved how he would just like had this like laid back thing and would just sit there and like very subtly make fun of these people, like just kind of showcase this disdain he had for celebrity culture, but that the person he was interviewing would just not even realize it. Maybe that's what I was drawn to, but like yeah, everyone I met that's actually trying to make it in show business, like all these actors and comedians or whatever, oh, just a fucking nightmare to be around. I just want to hang out with my boys. My boys who make like 65K a year. Working at Home Depot or whatever, and are completely hopeless and desperate and lost in life. That's who I want to spend my time with. I don't want to spend time with people trying to climb the showbiz ladder because that it's just a miserable, awful personality to be around. Um, and oh my god, anyone who's ever asked me to help them with a fucking audition tape, it's like get fucked, dude. Oh my god. Oh, god, I hate actors. I hate entertainers. I hate artists. That's why I like the internet because now we have a new thing: content creators, the ultimate grift. This one has been, and this one's been a lot of airing of grievances. Just been thinking about this stuff a lot because I just wonder like what is the world we live in now? Yeah, like what is going on? You know what I mean? Like there's so many people just trying to figure out like what to do with their lives and how to make it and survive, and it's such a confusing time because you know if you walk around any city or drive around, you see like the hustle and bustle and like the buzz of industry and capitalism and people just like running around from job to job or working construction or whatever, like all this stuff being built and worked on. But then like in the digital space, which is like and it's still in its infancy, I would say, like overall, like whatever's happening digitally on the internet, like all of it, I don't think we've like contextualized it to a place like where we understand that the internet has kind of only existed for maybe like 30 years, but the internet as we know it now, where it's like fast for everybody and you can watch YouTube video, like there's all this content, social media. That's like really really new in the grand scheme of things, and it's all kind of in its infancy. And I don't think like anyone's like most people are trying like a lot of people that are online that are engaging with it, like trying to make things for the internet. I think everybody's still trying to like figure out what the fuck this is and what's going on because there's so many there's so much opportunity to do stuff on the internet, and it's like a complete. It's mostly untapped. It's a whole new realm, and then everybody in the old world that's breaking their backs at these jobs. It's I don't know. It's really interesting to like. Maybe I'm just overthinking things or trying to rationalize a world that doesn't make any fucking sense. But it's like, why? Yeah, my question has always been like, why do the people that work hard and build things like are why are they forgot like ignored and not paid any money, not rewarded in any way? Whereas the people who kind of like do nothing and don't really contribute much to society at all are the ones who are rewarded. You know what I mean? Like that's the way things are set up, and that's why people are getting dumber and dumber. Is because like, yeah, I mean, why should anyone work hard to get a good job to make whatever money a job pays when you could effectively like get a foothold in the internet and just make content and get paid more than anyone ever would working a real job anywhere. You know what I mean? And maybe that's because right now, like with the way the internet is, that it exists right now, and then that might go away in the future. It might be like the gold rush or oil rush or whatever, where it's like you kind of have to get in. You know, you should have got like the best time to get in was yesterday, but if you can get in now, you know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you know, because I mean, what'll end up happening probably is like as the internet becomes more of a like tangible idea to us and starts to like consume our lives more and more to where people are truly just living on the internet. The whole fucking thing will be bought up by corporations and capitalists and all that. Like Zuck with the metaverse, which has not gone away. Like that dude is very cold and calculating, and that whole metaverse stuff has not like taken off yet. And because they're still like trying to figure out like what it is and like what to do with it, but that is not going to go away. That's going to come back in a big fucking way, probably. Like I think so. Like I don't I can't imagine a guy like that not having some sort of like 30-year plan for this thing. Like he probably calculated everything that's already happened with it, like rolling it out, people trying it, thinking it's stupid, a bunch of people losing fucking money on it. And but I think you're gonna see like that and other versions of like whatever that is, like digital real estate, like digital landscape or whatever. Like that's probably gonna become our lives. It's gonna become like whatever that movie is. I don't Ready Player One. Everybody's just plugged in all the time, trying to play the fucking internet casino. Um, damn, this has been a real philosophical ass episode. Uh, maybe I'm not funny anymore, and maybe it's like that guy said on Twitter. Your content is boring as fuck. But hey, at least I'm making it. That's the thing. Um, should I release this one? Yeah, why not? Yeah, I recorded this. This is what is today? It's Thursday, October 12th, and it is currently 3:39 a.m. I can't sleep. I did something cool earlier. I made a cup of coffee, and this is not. This is just coffee and milk. But earlier I tried something that really worked out. I took a Klondike bar and broke it up into a glass and then poured hot coffee over it. It was very good. It was a Klondike. It was a Reese's Klondike bar, so it had like peanut butter shit in it. And I just like broke it up into a glass and then poured coffee over it and stirred it up. That was awesome. Yeah, that was good. So try that, everybody. Try making a Klondike latte So I'll leave you with that. Go make that a trip. Make that my contribution to the internet and culture. The Klondike latte. Everybody, go try that. Make that a thing. Tell them Dalton Pruitt invented the Klondike latte. All right. Well, that's it for this one. Patreon.com/cornfed with Dalton Pruitt. Send me stuff to read for the other solo show, and watch all the premium content we have to offer, and send me money, please. Thank you. Goodbye.
After you've gone and left me crying, after you've gone, there's no denying. You seem blue, you feel sad, Mr. Van never. There'll come a time, now don't forget it, baby. There'll come a time when you regret it. Someday, when you grow lonely, your heart will break like mine. You want me only after you've gone. Oh, there's